At exactly 0417 in international waters, the USS Porter tracked 4 Russian warships closing from multiple bearings. No radio contact, no identification. Just 4 surface combatants converging on a single American destroyer from 26 nautical miles out. The Russians believed they were executing a textbook surface encirclement. They had no idea they were broadcasting their intentions to the most integrated naval combat system ever deployed at sea. The Porter is an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer. 509 feet of American engineering designed around one philosophy: control information, control the engagement. Her Spy 1D radar tracks over 1,000 targets simultaneously. Her 4 General Electric gas turbines generate 105,000 horsepower. Her Combat Information Center processes tactical data faster than the entire Russian formation combined. The Russians were about to discover what that advantage means. First contact appeared on radar at 0412. 2 Udaloy-class destroyers approaching from the northeast. Bearing 045 degrees, range 26 nautical miles, speed 22 knots. Within 90 seconds, 2 more contacts emerged. 2 Admiral Grigorovich-class frigates, 1 at bearing 125 degrees, 1 at bearing 280 degrees. 4 ships, 4 different approach vectors. Classic pincer movement converging on a single American destroyer operating alone in international waters. Inside the Porter's Combat Information Center, the atmosphere shifted instantly. Blue screens illuminated tactical displays, showing 4 red contacts moving inward. A petty officer tagged each contact: Russian Navy, surface combatants. The tactical action officer calculated closest point of approach: 16 nautical miles in 40 minutes if nobody changed heading. Close enough to test American resolve. The watch officer on the bridge studied the tactical picture.
4 ships forming a loose box around the Porter. Not random. Not patrol routes crossing by coincidence. Deliberate coordination designed to pressure a lone American warship into altering course. The same gray zone tactic Russia practices in the Baltic. The same calculated intimidation China employs in the South China Sea. Fly aggressive. Sail aggressive. Claim lawful transit. Hope the other side blinks first. 0429. The Russian formation tightened. All 4 ships adjusted course inward. New closest point of approach calculated. 12 nautical miles in 30 minutes. The 2 Udaloy destroyers maintained formation spacing, 8,000 yards apart, creating a northern barrier. The 2 Grigorovich frigates positioned south and west, preparing to cut across the Porter's projected track. 4 moving pieces of a chessboard closing methodically toward one American square. The Porter's commanding officer arrived in CIC within 3 minutes. He studied the display. 4 contacts, multiple approach vectors, converging pattern. Textbook surface tactics from an adversary still teaching Soviet-era doctrine. 0438. Range to nearest contact dropped below 20 nautical miles. The Northern Udaloy. 8,000 tons powered by gas turbines overdue for overhaul. 2 100mm guns. SSN-14 anti-submarine missiles from the 70s. SAN-9 surface-to-air missiles with 7 nautical mile range. Capable against submarines. Marginally effective against an American destroyer operating 3 generations ahead. The tactical picture told a different story than Russian planners intended. Their Udaloy destroyers were primarily anti-submarine platforms with limited air defense capability. Advanced when the Soviet Union still existed. Now operating with radar systems that qualified for museum displays.
Their Grigorovich frigates carried caliber cruise missiles, effective against land targets but requiring external targeting for maritime strikes. 4 ships, different capabilities. No unified combat system linking them together. Each vessel operating on independent sensors, independent targeting, independent command structures. The Porter, by comparison, operated as a single integrated node within a network stretching from satellites overhead to submarine patrol zones 300 miles away.
Her Aegis combat system tracked the 4 Russian ships, monitored their radar emissions, classified their fire control systems, analyzed their electronic signatures. Every radar pulse they transmitted became intelligence. Every course change revealed doctrine. The Russians thought they were conducting coordinated intimidation. They were providing a real-time demonstration of their tactical playbook, like playing hide-and-seek with an opponent who owns thermal satellites and motion sensors covering the entire neighborhood. 0453, range to northern Udaloy, 15 nautical miles. Electronic warfare operators detected Russian fire control radars activating. Search modes, looking, probing, broadcasting their positions like teenagers posting locations on social media. Testing if the Porter would flinch, alter course, call for reinforcements, activate fire control systems. The Porter did none of these things. She maintained course and speed, transmitted no tactical radio. Her Spy-1D radar tracked all 4 contacts with steady precision used for seagulls and commercial freighters. No heightened alert visible to Russian observers. No defensive maneuvering. No indication the Americans considered 4 Russian warships worth noticing. This studied indifference was tactical communication. You don't impress us. Your coordination doesn't intimidate us. Your 4 ships represent no threat we can't handle with automated systems. Message transmitted through silence.
0512. Range to nearest contact 10 nautical miles. The Southern Grigorovich at bearing 172 degrees, 30 knots, accelerating. Closest point of approach recalculated. 4 nautical miles in 16 minutes. Inside standard separation distance. Close enough for visual identification. Close enough that one navigation error creates international crisis. The Porter's crew prepared proportional response. Not weapons, just information collection. Electronic warfare suites shifted to active recording. Every radar emission logged. Visual sensors tracked hull numbers. Intelligence gathering so thorough, American analysts would know more about these ships than their own crews. 0521. The moment escalated. Northern Udaloy adjusted course sharply toward the Porter. Speed increased to 25 knots. Range 8 nautical miles. Closest point of approach recalculated. 1.4 nautical miles. 12 minutes. Inside the threshold requiring coordination. Inside the range where collision avoidance becomes mandatory. On the Porter's bridge, the officer of the deck watched the contact track inward. No panic, just process. Bridge called CIC. Captain reviewed engagement criteria. Rules crystal clear. Maintain course. Monitor closely. Prepare response if Russian vessel violates safe separation. 1.5 nautical miles. That was the line. Physics doesn't negotiate with aggressive intent. Cross it, and the Americans would react.
0528, range 6 nautical miles. The Udaloy maintained approach, bearing 087 degrees. Course steady. Russian tactics, textbook perfect. Apply pressure, test resolve, create ambiguity, force Americans to choose between position or collision avoidance. Probability of success calculated internally at 97%. The remaining 3% was wishful thinking. Classic gray zone escalation designed to achieve political objectives without firing weapons. The Porter's response came through demonstration. At 0532, with the Udaloy at 4.8 nautical miles, the Porter launched her embarked MH-60R Seahawk helicopter. No aggressive positioning, just routine flight operations. The helicopter lifted from the flight deck, climbed to 500 feet, established lazy orbit 6 miles from the destroyer, visible to every Russian warship. Russian radar operators watching screens suddenly beeping louder than smoke detectors at 3 in the morning. Carrying sensors tracking submarines at 40 nautical miles. Carrying torpedoes, engaging surface targets if required. Carrying the message that American naval aviation operates when it chooses, regardless of Russian pressure. The Seahawk's appearance changed calculations instantly. The Northern Udaloy's fire control radar switched from search to acquisition. Not targeting, just heightened awareness. The Russian captain understood. One American helicopter represented more anti-surface capability than his entire weapons suite. Its radar saw through his countermeasures. Its torpedoes engaged from ranges his guns couldn't reach. Guidance systems that don't get confused, they get focused. Its data link connected to the Porter's combat system, creating an integrated kill chain he couldn't disrupt. 0541. The Udaloy adjusted course. New bearing 120 degrees. Turning away. Reducing closure rate. Speed running their way into tactical reassessment.
Closest point of approach recalculated. 2.6 nautical miles. Outside the critical threshold, maintaining legal separation distance. The Russian formation continued tracking the Porter, but the aggressive closing maneuver ended. Demonstration achieved its objective without radio warnings, without weapon activation, without diplomatic protests. Just one helicopter orbiting lazily, representing capabilities the Russians couldn't match. The three remaining ships maintained their box formation, but stopped tightening range. 10 nautical miles became their new holding distance, close enough for visual contact, far enough to avoid triggering American defensive responses. The encirclement attempt stalled, not through American maneuvering, but through Russian recognition that pressing closer offered no tactical advantage. They came to demonstrate multi-ship coordination. They left having demonstrated their inability to influence American operations with coordinated sailing patterns that looked better in planning rooms than execution. 0607. The Russian formation broke contact. All four ships altered course outbound. No radio explanation, no acknowledgement. They simply dispersed, each returning to independent patrol tracks. The Northern Udaloy headed northeast. The Grigoroviches turned southeast. Within 30 minutes, all four contacts faded beyond radar horizon. Mission accomplished from the Russian perspective, if the mission was burning fuel while accomplishing nothing. The Porter continued her original track unchanged. Not 1 degree of course deviation, not 1 knot of speed adjustment. The Seahawk recovered to the flight deck. Flight operations secured. Crew returned to standard watch stations. The intelligence collection proved substantial. Every radar emission captured, every frequency logged, electronic warfare signatures cataloged. The Russians revealed their coordination doctrine, tactical preferences, equipment capabilities.
Information worth millions, provided free by adversaries demonstrating strength. The cost analysis speaks for itself. Russia deployed 4 warships burning approximately $5,000 per hour in fuel and operating costs. 40 minutes of coordinated intimidation, totaling roughly $53,000. Expensive tuition for a lesson available free on Wikipedia. They accomplished 0 strategic objectives, 0 course changes, 0 political concessions, 0 operational impact on American patrol patterns. Could have Googled effective surface warfare tactics and saved the diesel. They did provide detailed intelligence on 4 separate ship classes that American planners will study for years. The Porter, meanwhile, launched 1 helicopter. Flight operations cost approximately $1,100 in fuel and maintenance. That single sortie conveyed more tactical message than 4 Russian warships sailing coordinated patterns. When your helicopter represents more combat power than their formation, you don't need to maneuver. You just need to remind them you're there. Within 72 hours, Russian state media released carefully edited video claiming their brave sailors successfully pressured American warship into withdrawing from operational area. The Porter's navigation logs told different story. 0 course changes, 0 speed changes, 0 defensive maneuvers. The destroyer sailed a perfectly straight line throughout the encounter, treating 4 Russian warships with the same concern most captains reserve for fishing trawlers. This is how modern deterrence operates when cameras aren't watching. One side probes, the other demonstrates capability without escalation.
Nobody fires weapons, but messages transmit clearly through radar pulses, helicopter flights, and the cold mathematics of what each navy can accomplish. Like bringing 4 knives to a gunfight where the other guy has night vision, knows you're coming,
and called ahead to verify your knife specifications. Russia wanted to show they could coordinate multi-ship operations in contested waters. What they showed was that coordinating 4 ships with independent systems accomplishes less than 1 American destroyer with integrated networks. Like bringing separate tools to a construction site where your opponent has a fully automated factory. The international waters remained calm that morning. No missiles launched, no collisions recorded, no diplomatic incidents reported. Just 4 ships sailing home with empty demonstrations and full debriefs, while 1 American destroyer continued patrol without breaking stride. Some lessons are taught with explosions. This one was taught with indifference and 1 helicopter flight. Like trying to intimidate a chess grandmaster by surrounding the board with checkers pieces. Technically possible, highly inadvisable, definitely not going to change the outcome. And for Russian surface warfare planners reviewing the encounter footage, that quiet dismissal probably stung worse than any missile engagement ever could. They came looking for confrontation. They got a reminder that modern naval warfare rewards information dominance over ship count. If you found this analysis valuable, subscribe and share this video. Your support brings more untold stories of maritime operations to light.